There's a choice you make every single day. A choice so ordinary, so automatic, so woven into the fabric of your routine that you don't even think of it as a choice anymore. It happens in the morning when you wake up. It happens throughout the day as you move from task to task. It happens in the evening as you wind down. And it happens again the next day. And the next, and the next. And with each repetition of this choice, something inside you changes. Something subtle. Something you can't see in the mirror right away. But it's there. Growing. Accumulating. Accelerating. This isn't about what you eat. This isn't about exercise or sleep or stress. This is about something far more fundamental. Something that affects every cell in your body. Every tissue. Every organ. Every system. And after 50, when your body's resilience begins to fade, when its ability to recover and repair starts to slow, this daily mistake becomes a powerful force. A silent accelerator of aging that shows up in ways you never expected. In the stiffness of your joints. In the fatigue that won't lift. In the brain fog that clouds your thinking. In the lines that deepen on your face. In the weight that settles around your middle and refuses to leave. You might blame it on getting older. You might tell yourself it's just part of aging. But what if it's not? What if this daily mistake is something you can change? Something within your control? What if the aging you thought was inevitable is actually optional? Let me take you inside a typical day. Your day. Anyone's day. You wake up. The alarm sounds. And immediately, you reach for your phone. You check messages. You scroll through news. You begin the mental checklist of everything you need to do. Your mind starts racing before your feet even touch the floor. You move through your morning routine. Coffee. Breakfast, maybe. A shower. Getting dressed. And then you sit. You sit at the kitchen table. You sit in your car. You sit at your desk. You sit for meetings. You sit for lunch. You sit for emails. You sit while you watch television in the evening. Hours pass. The sun moves across the sky. And your body, it remains still. Motionless. Locked in the same position. Hour after hour after hour. This is the mistake. This is the choice you're making without realizing it. The choice to remain sedentary. The choice to sit when you could stand. To stay still when you could move. To let your body rest when it was actually designed for motion. And after 50, this mistake doesn't just make you tired or stiff. It doesn't just make you gain weight. It fundamentally accelerates the aging process at the cellular level. Here's what happens inside your body when you sit for too long. Picture your muscles. Hundreds of them, woven throughout your body, designed to contract and relax, to move bones, to generate force. But when you sit, most of them go silent. They stop working. They stop demanding energy. They stop sending signals to the rest of your body that say, we're alive, we're active, we're needed. And when your muscles stop working, everything else starts to decline. Your metabolism slows down. Without muscle activity, your body burns fewer calories. It becomes less efficient at processing glucose. Your insulin sensitivity drops. Fat storage increases, especially around your organs, creating what's called visceral fat, the dangerous kind that wraps around your liver, your heart, your intestines. Your circulation becomes sluggish. Blood pools in your legs. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard to pump blood through your body, so it becomes weaker. Your blood pressure can rise. Your risk of blood clots increases. Your lymphatic system, the network responsible for clearing toxins and waste from your tissues, slows to a crawl. Unlike your circulatory system, which has a pump in the form of your heart, your lymphatic system relies entirely on muscle movement to function. When you sit still, lymph fluid stagnates. Toxins accumulate. Inflammation builds. And then there's what happens to your spine. Your posture collapses. Your shoulders round forward. Your neck cranes toward a screen. The natural curves of your spine compress. Discs degenerate. Nerves get pinched. Pain becomes your constant companion. But the damage goes even deeper than that. It goes all the way down to your DNA. Let me explain something that might surprise you. Inside every cell in your body, at the very end of your chromosomes, there are protective caps called telomeres. Think of them like the plastic tips on shoelaces that prevent the laces from fraying. Telomeres protect your DNA from damage. They ensure that when your cells divide, your genetic information stays intact. But every time a cell divides, these telomeres get a little bit shorter. And when they become too short, the cell can no longer divide. It becomes senescent, essentially retired, no longer functional. Or it dies. This shortening of telomeres is one of the fundamental mechanisms of aging. It's literally the biological clock, ticking inside every cell. And here's the critical part. The rate at which your telomeres shorten isn't fixed. It's influenced by your lifestyle, by your choices, by your daily habits. And one of the most powerful factors that accelerates telomere shortening? Prolonged sitting, physical inactivity, a sedentary lifestyle. Studies have shown that people who sit for more than 8 hours a day have significantly shorter telomeres than people who move regularly throughout the day. And this difference translates into biological age. People who sit too much are literally aging faster at the cellular level. Their bodies are older than their years. After 50, when telomere length is already naturally shorter, when the body's ability to repair DNA damage is already declining, this accelerated shortening becomes even more consequential. It shows up as disease, as frailty, as cognitive decline, as visible aging. This is why sitting has been called the new smoking. Not because it's exactly the same, but because its impact on longevity and health span is just as significant. Now, let's talk about inflammation, because this is where the aging process really accelerates. Inflammation is your body's natural response to injury or infection. It's supposed to be temporary, a short burst of immune activity to heal damage and fight off threats. But when you sit for prolonged periods, day after day, year after year, inflammation becomes chronic. It never fully turns off. Sedentary behavior triggers the release of inflammatory molecules called cytokines. These molecules circulate through your bloodstream, affecting every tissue they encounter. They damage blood vessels. They interfere with insulin signaling. They promote the accumulation of arterial plaque. They attack brain cells. They break down collagen in your skin. Chronic inflammation is now understood to be at the root of almost every age-related disease. Heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, arthritis, cancer. And sitting, simple, seemingly harmless sitting, is one of the most powerful triggers of chronic inflammation. After 50, your body's natural anti-inflammatory systems become less effective. Your immune system becomes less precise, more prone to creating inflammation where it's not needed. And when you add hours of daily sitting on top of this already compromised system, you create the perfect storm for accelerated aging. This is why people who sit too much often look older than their age. Why their skin loses elasticity faster. Why their joints become stiff and painful. Why their energy disappears. It's not just time passing. It's inflammation, quietly destroying tissue, day by day. But here's what gives me hope. Here's what makes this daily mistake different from so many other aspects of aging. It's reversible. Not completely, not instantly, but significantly, meaningfully, powerfully. Because unlike your genetics, unlike the passage of time itself, your movement patterns are entirely within your control. You can change them today, right now. And when you do, your body responds. Quickly, dramatically. When you stand up, when you move, even just for a few minutes every hour, everything shifts. Your muscles wake up. They start consuming glucose again. They start producing molecules that improve insulin sensitivity. They start generating signals that tell your body to stay strong, stay functional, stay alive. Your circulation improves immediately. Blood flows more freely. Oxygen reaches your tissues more efficiently. Your heart gets stronger with each beat. Your lymphatic system starts moving again. Toxins begin to clear. Inflammation starts to recede. And over time, with consistent movement, even your telomeres respond. They don't grow longer. That's not possible. But their rate of shortening slows down. Your biological clock doesn't reverse, but it stops racing forward quite so fast. This is the power of movement. This is what becomes possible when you break the habit of prolonged sitting. Because here's what most people misunderstand about movement. They think it has to be exercise. They think it has to be intense, structured, difficult. They think they need to join a gym, hire a trainer, commit to an hour-long workout every day. And when they can't do that, when life gets busy, when energy is low, when motivation fades, they do nothing. They sit, and they tell themselves that if they can't exercise properly, there's no point in trying at all. But this is a false choice. This is a trap that keeps people stuck in patterns that age them faster. Because the truth is, your body doesn't need intense exercise to stay young. It needs frequent movement, small bursts of activity, regular reminders throughout the day that it's alive, that it's needed, that it matters. Standing up from your chair every 30 minutes and walking for 2 minutes does more for your metabolism than sitting all day and then going to the gym for an hour. Because it's the prolonged sitting that does the damage. It's the hours of stillness that trigger the inflammatory cascade, that suppress your metabolism, that accelerate aging. And breaking up that stillness, even with gentle, easy movement, interrupts the damage before it can fully take hold. This is the secret. This is what researchers are discovering. It's not about how hard you move. It's about how often. It's about never letting your body stay still for too long. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in practice. Imagine waking up in the morning and, instead of immediately reaching for your phone, you spend 5 minutes stretching. Gentle movements. Reaching your arms overhead. Rolling your shoulders. Twisting your spine. Waking up your body before you wake up your mind. Then, throughout the day, you set a timer. Every hour, it reminds you to stand. And when it goes off, you don't ignore it. You honor it. You stand up. You walk around your home or office. You do a few squats. You rotate your neck. You breathe deeply. Just 2 or 3 minutes. That's all. During phone calls, You walk instead of sit. While watching television in the evening, you stretch on the floor instead of collapsing into the couch. Before bed, you do a few gentle movements to release the tension your body accumulated during the day. None of this is strenuous. None of it requires special equipment or athletic ability. But all of it matters. All of it sends signals to your body that say, stay strong, stay functional, don't give up on me yet. And your body listens. It responds. It adapts. Now, let's talk about what happens when you make the shift. When you go from sitting 8 or 10 hours a day to moving regularly throughout your day. First, you'll notice your energy changes. Not in a dramatic, caffeine-like surge, but in a steady, sustainable way. That afternoon slump that used to hit you around 2 or 3 o'clock, it starts to fade. Your energy becomes more consistent throughout the day because your circulation is better. Your cells are receiving more oxygen. Your metabolism is more active. Then you'll notice your mood improves. Movement releases endorphins, natural mood elevators, that don't just make you feel good in the moment, but actually reduce anxiety and depression over time. And it releases something else too, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. This is like fertilizer for your brain cells. It helps them grow new connections. It protects them from damage. It keeps your mind sharp and clear. This is why people who move regularly throughout the day report better focus, better memory, better cognitive function than people who sit all day. Even if those sedentary people exercise intensely once a day. It's the constant movement, the frequent activity, that keeps your brain young. Your sleep will improve too. Not because movement exhausts you, but because it helps regulate your circadian rhythm. Your body temperature fluctuates naturally throughout the day, and movement enhances those fluctuations, making the signal to sleep stronger when bedtime arrives. You'll fall asleep faster. You'll sleep more deeply. You'll wake up more refreshed. And then there's the physical transformation. The weight that's been creeping up year after year, it starts to stabilize. Even without changing your diet, even without counting calories. Your body begins to find its natural weight again because your metabolism is active, your insulin sensitivity is improving, your inflammation is decreasing, your posture straightens, your joints become more mobile. The stiffness that greeted you every morning begins to dissolve. You move through the world with more ease, more grace, more confidence. But perhaps the most profound change happens at that cellular level I mentioned earlier. In your telomeres, in your DNA. When you move regularly, when you keep your body active throughout the day, you're not just preventing further damage. You're activating repair mechanisms that have been dormant for years. Your cells start producing more antioxidants to combat oxidative stress. They increase their production of heat shock proteins, which help repair damaged proteins and protect against cellular stress. They enhance their autophagy, that cleanup process I mentioned earlier, where damaged components are recycled and renewed. All of this happens not because you're running marathons or lifting heavy weights, but simply because you're moving. Because you're giving your body the signal it needs to stay in repair mode instead of decay mode. And the research bears this out. Studies show that people who break up prolonged sitting with frequent movement have markers of biological age that are years younger than their chronological age. Their telomeres are longer. Their inflammation is lower. Their metabolic health is better. Their risk of chronic disease is dramatically reduced. This is the fountain of youth we've been searching for. Not a pill. Not a procedure. Not a secret supplement. Just movement. Regular, frequent, gentle movement throughout every single day. Now, I want to address something important, because I know that some of you might be thinking, but I have pain. I have limitations. I can't move the way I used to. And I understand. After 50, many people are dealing with arthritis, with old injuries, with conditions that make movement difficult or uncomfortable. But here's the paradox. The less you move because of pain, the more pain you'll experience. Because stillness creates stiffness. Stiffness creates more pain. And pain makes you want to move even less. It's a vicious cycle. But gentle, regular movement, even if it's just standing up and sitting back down, even if it's just rolling your ankles while seated, even if it's just stretching your arms overhead, begins to break that cycle. It lubricates your joints. It strengthens the muscles that support them. It increases blood flow to damaged tissues, bringing nutrients and oxygen that promote healing. You don't have to be pain-free to move. You just have to move within your current capacity. And as you do, that capacity will expand. The movement that felt difficult today will feel easier next week. The range of motion that felt restricted will gradually open up. Your body wants to move. It's designed for it. And even when it's been still for years, it remembers. It responds. It heals. Let me share one more story with you. A story that captures the transformation that's possible. Imagine a woman, let's call her Linda. She's 64. She retired 3 years ago and, without the structure of work, found herself sitting more and more, reading, watching television, scrolling through her tablet. Hours passed without her even noticing. And gradually, she started to feel older. Her back hurt. Her knees were stiff. She felt tired all the time. She gained 15 pounds. She looked in the mirror and didn't recognize herself. Her daughter suggested she start exercising, maybe join a gym. But Linda felt overwhelmed by that. She felt too old, too out of shape, too far gone. Then she learned about the power of simply breaking up sitting time. And she thought, I can do that. I can stand up every hour. I can walk to the mailbox. I can stretch while I watch my shows. So she started. Small movements. Frequent movements. Nothing dramatic. And within 2 weeks, she noticed something. The brain fog she'd been experiencing started to lift. Her energy picked up. She felt more like herself. Within a month, her back pain decreased. Her sleep improved. She started taking short walks around her neighborhood. Not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Within 3 months, those 15 pounds were gone. Her posture had improved. She moved with more confidence, more vitality. And the most remarkable part? Linda started to feel younger. Not in a superficial way, but in a deep, cellular way. She felt like her body was waking up after a long sleep, like she was reclaiming something she thought she'd lost forever. This is what becomes possible. This is the power of correcting this one daily mistake. So here's what I want you to understand. The daily mistake that rapidly speeds up aging after 50 isn't some complex biochemical error. It isn't something you need a doctor to fix or a prescription to solve. It's simply sitting too much, staying still for too long, allowing your body to remain motionless hour after hour, day after day, until it forgets what it was designed to do. But the solution is just as simple. Stand up. Move. Often. Gently. Consistently. Every time you choose to move instead of sit, you're sending a signal to your cells that says, stay young. Stay strong. Keep going. And your cells listen. They respond. They adapt. The fountain of youth isn't hiding in some distant place. It's right here. In your body. In your choice to move. So right now, before you finish reading this, I want you to stand up. Stretch your arms overhead. Roll your shoulders back. Take a deep breath. Feel that? That's your body saying thank you. That's aging slowing down. That's you taking control. And tomorrow, do it again. And again. And again. Because this is how you stay young. Not by fighting time, but by honoring the body you have and giving it what it needs to thrive.